What's going on, guys? We are here with week number 5 of the Fall Skirmish. I'm Zeke, and this week we are joined by legendary content creator, streamer, extraordinaire, Fortnite aficionado, Cypher PK.
Zeke, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. It's Friday. We got 2 competitions to watch today. We're going to be watching Fortnite at the highest level. I mean, I'm pumped. I'm ready.
It's going to be great. During the week, we saw the ATK races. We've got a few of our favorite clips we wanted to share with you guys. So before we get into the action, let's take a look at that.
God's plan. No! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yes! Out of my way, Silva! Out of my goddamn way! Yes.
You can see how thirsty people are.
He's so focused on this. It's like he's playing for the win right now.
Yeah, and you can see there's a llama onlooker who was not even paying attention. Llamas, you gotta pay attention. Yeah, so this week we had the ATK races. We had brackets. 4 people competed within playgrounds. Top 2 went on, and we obviously had some winners. We had 4 winners from North America and 4 winners from the European scene. So let's take a look at our winners. Coming in at number 4 was Epsilon Macau for the Dusty Dogs. That's 100 points. And third, that's right, Severin with 150 points. Coming out of the Fortnite in second place, though, we've got Mitro, the legend himself, with 200 points for the Rift Raiders. And that means left in first place is Alliance Powder for the Dusty Dogs. Bush Bandits and Lucky Llamas not seeing any points, but keep in mind we have 4 winners from NA. Let's take a look at those. So Cypher, I mean, you're a Bush Bandit.
Yeah.
So what's going on here, man? What happened?
At least Reverse got us on the board. Mitro is busy winning, the actual tournaments and the races. He needs to slow down just a little bit.
Mitro, you're too strong. We need to nerf you. You're too strong, man. On top of that, we also have updated club standings coming into this week. So let's take a look at that. In first place is your team, Bush Bandits.
Let's get it.
2,965 points. In second are the Fortnites, 2,880 points. Right behind them, though, Dusty Dogs, 2,865. In fourth, Rift Raiders with 2,590. And the Lucky Llamas are left in 5th place with 2,445 points.
Zeke, you'll notice that the top 3 right now are really close, just 100 points between each other. So after the competitions today, you can definitely expect some shifts potentially happening between Bush Bandits, Fortnites, and the Dusty Dogs. And even Rift Raiders and Lucky Llamas, if they come out strong today, they could jump up a few places. So I'll be excited to see how the score settles down after today.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, Cypher, before we continue, what do you think you're looking forward to seeing in the meta? Obviously, this week we saw the introduction of the Quad Crasher. We've seen some very interesting clips, things come out of that, like rotations and whatnot. What do you think?
So when the Quad Crasher first released, initially I was like, okay, this is cool. It's like the ATK a little faster, but some people have been doing some crazy stuff with it. I've seen some insane late game rotations with the Quad Crasher. I've seen some eliminations with the Quad Crasher. It's definitely something that's really early, and if I see a team pull something off, it will be insane and risky. But I really do hope we see someone use it in the late game rotations, because you can go flying with that thing, and people will not expect it. It's very fast.
Very fast indeed. With that, we'll take a look at the format. Every week we swap things up. We're returning to a fan favorite Royale Flush. Keep in mind we are on the duo format. Victory Royales are worth 3 points. Second and third place are worth 2, and fourth and fifth are worth 1 point.
Eliminations. 8 eliminations is going to net you 3 points. 6 to 7 is going to get you 2, and 4 and 5 is going to get you 1 point. And if you end up getting 8 eliminations and the Victory Royale, it's going to be a Royale Flush. It's going to get you an extra 2 points. And don't be surprised if the team that ends up coming home in first place is the team that gets the most Royale Flushes.
That's right, and there's also a bonus incentive on top of the Royale Flush, and that is if a team lands a Royale Flush, they're going to get $10,000. That is per Royale Flush. Before even placing Cypher, on top of that, we have the extra $25K for most eliminations in a single match throughout the day. That'll be for NA and EU. And these happen before even placing. I mean, take a look at the prize pool on top of the club points. It's going to be a big day.
Yeah, and most likely the team that ends up getting the Royale Flush is most likely the team that will have the most eliminations at the end of this. So that's $35,000 that they could potentially walk away with outside of placements.
Yeah.
And if a team does get Royale Flush, they're almost guaranteed to be placed. So it's a lot of money.
Can't wait, ladies and gentlemen. Home, don't forget to use that hashtag FallSkirmish. You know we love hearing from you. Don't forget to rep your favorite club. And obviously, let us know what you think of Cypher. The answer is he's incredible. I'm going to save you the trouble. Just tweet that at Cypher. At Cypher, you are incredible.
Thank you so much, Zeke.
There it is. That's all you need to know. With that, though, we're getting ready to hop into game number 1. Don't forget, we have 6 games heading your way today. And this is just the first one. So what are you hoping to see coming out of the European scene, Cypher?
Well, there's a lot of really stacked teams, so we're going to see some crazy plays, some good matchups. I'm interested to see how people use the floating Loot Lake Island. I'm actually not even sure where it is right now on the map. It's constantly moving.
Constantly.
Last I checked, it was somewhere near the middle.
That's right.
Near Dusty
right between Dusty and Tilted Towers. Things are happening. Things are moving. Let's not forget, we also have returning competitor Alanis Mitro here, who is paired up with someone he's very familiar with. So, you know, it's going to be a pretty interesting day, all things considered. But taking a look at the current bus, it's not the most ideal bus, right? You have a little bit of a less room to play with, because now you have to make these farther travels to say, like down at Lucky Landing, even the likes of Fatal Fields and Flush Factory. You have to be in the air longer.
Yeah, and the longer you are in the air, you know, the people who land early, they'll have more materials. You know, you could land and people will already have a few hundred materials and shields and weapons. It'll be interesting to see how people use that center island, because I've watched a few scrims recently, and having control of that island late game is very vital when it comes to maneuvering around the map. So you'll see people fighting on there, and you'll see people sitting on there waiting for the circle to push them out.
Right off the bat, take a look at this. Solary, MZ, and Airwalks. One of the very powerful God. Start the game with a quad launcher. That's what you like to see, man. I actually caught up with Myth earlier on in the week, and he was very excited to see people utilizing the quad launcher more. It's very effective, especially when you're fighting against people that are kind of turtling. You can force them to take fights.
Very rapid shots. A lot different than any of the other explosives in the game. Yeah. Razaru is here, and he's contested. Him and his partner are going Fnatic Jarl, and his partner are at Motel right now. They're very limited on their resources, but I can definitely see him using some of these boogie bombs to try to turn the fight around. The boogie bombs recently got changed to where they drop in stacks of 2. And it's extremely useful when it comes. Oh, Chef also has a set of boogie bombs, so that's 4 boogie bombs for Chef and Razaru.
So it's going to make it rain boogie bombs.
Oh, they're going to be dancing, yes. So if they can use these properly, they can clean up this very easily. Even a really good player getting hit with a boogie bomb, a lot of times people become very predictable. They start jumping up and down. When somebody jumps, there's only one way they can go. They can go down, and these players are experienced enough to land that headshot on the jump.
Yeah.
Now Beehive, he has the Porter Rift, so if they need to get out of here, they can. There's also some rifts right outside, so it'll be interesting to see. I think both these teams right now are just kind of, they want to see what the other team wants to do. Are they going to fight? Are they going to, you know, rotate out? They're playing it very safe, and that's just kind of how you have to go in the early game.
Yeah, Razor is definitely familiar with this type of territory. This is not a new place to him. He cracks Beehive, though. I really hope, like you're saying, man, just use the boogie bombs. Chuck one out. At least then you have 3 left in reserves. You won't lose too much. Now it looks like he's going to get aggressive. Beehive. You heard one of the boogies go off there. Jarl making that rotation around. Beehive's dropped low as well.
Razor's really weak right now.
Is he going to go down? He's solo.
He went down. It's a 1v2 right now. They haven't used the boogie bombs yet. I don't think they even can at this point.
Not fast enough. Jarl and Beehive make quick work of the 2 there. And now Motel is theirs. Now, keep in mind, there wasn't really much healing around in general. So, unfortunately, Beehive is going to be having to deal with this small health pool for now. But like you talked about, man, they've got all these rifts here. They also have the rift to go as well, so they can make some rotations. There's
maybe a vending machine that could have shields or medkits available. You always got to remember the vending machines. A lot of people tend to forget them. Right. But when you're left alone like that, you can farm, and you could potentially get medkit or a shield or minis off of the vending machine. Retail Row, 2 teams here as well. They're both busy farming and collecting loot. Some good weapons on Pathway, the silenced Epic Assault Rifle and the golden heavy sniper. So
that's what you just like start the game. You're just like, let me just find the most secret weapon and the strongest weapon all in one go.
Both sitting at 100 shields, both farming. They have a good amount of materials for the early game. There's a team, you can see there's a team rotating from the trucks up north. So we might see them collide here, or those guys might just back out.
Over to Rasmussen and Azrod, who are actually near that floating island like you talked about. And again, I mean, just look how many people are close by. Alliance taking Sif down below in Dusty Divot. We saw a team down south from them. This is the team inside the divot right now. I mean, look, there's even a duo within the actual divot itself, farming up materials, collecting loot. I'm actually kind of digging this circle. It's not, I would consider this like a safe circle. You know, not many people have to go that far to get into the safe zone, which is good.
Speaking of the circle, a lot of times teams who land in the center, you know, they might be contested, but if they can either eliminate the teams that contest them or rotate away, the benefit of being in the middle and being in the initial circle is you have a lot more time to farm and collect you know, weapons and materials and get your shields up, while the teams that are away from the circle, you know, they still have enough time to farm, but then they also have to account for rotating into the circle and potentially getting into fights.
Over.
Mark.
Ooh. He's not looking good over at Snobby Shores. He's currently
got the
pinned
trap down.
Does it eclipse one player? Adds is dropped low, but he is now down, and they are going to execute him for that elimination. That was actually super low. He goes down. Ads goes down. His teammate is up top. Riddle gets it down. Is it enough?
That is insane. That he walked into the trap even though it was already up. He must have forgotten about it or just gotten a little bit distracted. But I cannot believe he walked into that trap again. They really fumbled that, to be honest with you. That was theirs to win, and unfortunately did not go their way. Little build fight over here.
Lucky landing, seeing some action. Now keep in mind, the storm is starting to move. We got a minute 30 before it overtakes this area. So they need to start making this disengage. Dalo and Dollar Games against Jules and his teammate. Now they've got the high ground. I mean, look, they got the porta fort. The mats are looking really great. 679 wood.
Oh, that's a really good first shot right there.
Jules is not looking too pretty right now. He's going to go down. Now the question is, where's Jules' teammates? Down below. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Dollar Games is just keeping his teammate.
Pouncing on him.
It's Brox there, Uncle Brox. And now look, they just keep him down. They just have to keep him pinned down, keep him away from Jules. But look, Cypher, the storm is already coming in.
This is one of the downsides of landing near the edge of the map is if you get into these fights and they last too long, both you and the team that you are fighting could potentially get eaten up by the storm.
Now Brox could turn this whole thing around. He just needs to hit his shots. Dalo here, I mean, he already cracked Dalo. He's got no more shields.
But I mean, even winning this fight, it's not really a true win for them because the storm, the lack of resources. So like these guys, you know, luckily for him, he has a med kit, and maybe they have some loot that they acquired from eliminating those opponents. But now they got to rotate in the storm, low on resources, low on materials. When you get into those early game fights, it's almost like you're trying to eliminate the opponents without using as many resources as possible. But if you don't use enough, you might lose the fight. So it's a bit of a mind game. Like, should I spend 500 resources here to try to eliminate these guys? Should I rotate away? And you try to win with as minimal, you know, building as possible. But sometimes you build too little, you end up losing the fight.
Right, exactly. Now Blackso here engaged. He's coming out of the storm. Ooh, almost takes fall damage, but he's okay. Now he drops and cracks that player for a lot. We've seen the kill feed. Heisel has knocked out Dollar Games, and Madsen takes down Yoshi. And look, Madsen is dropped super low. So down below, Solar Yoshi's just chilling. Genside Madsen is like, I'm going to med. Solar Yoshi, I promise I will do my best to protect you.
Good pyramid right there to block him from entering. There is a trap here, I believe, so he's going to be a little bit more cautious trying to get in there. I think his teammate just took him out.
Yep. There you go. Both are eliminated. Poverty and Yoshi goes down. And now they get some more loot. You know, again, they're at the very edge of this circle. Not super great for them. They need to start making the rotation. You can see the little yellow diamonds up by Lazy Links. That is Blackso and his teammate Madsen. But look, we're over near Tilted.
Look at Tilted. You see those people flying across. Most of them are using the Loot Lake floating island, and they're getting in there. So there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, there's already a lot of people in that area, and the reason because of that is because of the Loot Lake Island. People are using that to rotate, and there's more teams that are going to be rotating in right now, and I don't know if they realize how many people they're jumping into. Now, luckily, there's a lot of cover in Tilted Towers, but they got to be careful here. It's gonna get really tricky, especially if this next circle goes even further towards Snobby Shores. All those teams rotating out of there, it's gonna get messy. It's gonna be a lot of people going down.
Yeah, for sure. I think they should try to make rotations down by like Shifty. I mean, the assumption would be if you're gonna make rotations, they're going to Tilted, right? So
yeah,
use the floating island vortex, get down by Shifty, and rotate around by Greasy. But Crabble here with Carnifex, Rift Raiders. Currently engaged in Pleasant Park. Boogie Bomb on the floor. He picks it up. Ooh, they get cracked for just a little bit now. Carnifex still okay. He's topped off. He's ready to go. They also have the med kit.
Yeah.
Yep. But look, it's Mitro and his teammate Vilex.
That is a scary duo to be going against right now, and they've got him pinned inside here. They've got materials. They've got shields. And they're playing aggressive. Like, at this point, they've already invested enough time to these guys. They want the elimination. They want the resources. You know, when you, like, they're investing their time instead of, you know, looting or farming because they feel like they can eliminate these guys and whatever they have is now theirs.
Right, it's like worth it to them, right?
Yes.
There we go. Crabble going down. Carnifex
crawling towards the trap to try to get him to. But these guys are smart enough. They're not going to walk into the trap. There's no way. It's a 1v2 situation right now.
What's interesting is they don't execute Crabble there. They're just leaving him up alive. They're kind of forcing his teammate to come and try and get him.
There we go.
There you go. He takes him down. And now they're sitting okay. We saw Mitro, he was low before, so he tops off with that med kit. And like you're talking about, man, to them, they feel like this whole engagement is worth it. It's valuable. If they can find Carnifex, that's 500 potential brick heading their way as well.
And they need it. At this point, they've already, like, they haven't wasted time, but in their mind, if they don't come out of this with the loot that these guys have, then it's been a waste.
Wow, Crabble. Mitro takes him down.
That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt coming in there with the pump. He really had to. When you're in a 1v2 situation like that, you just have to like risk it. You can't play too safe. You have to hope that you land your shot and potentially knock one of them out with a well-placed pump shotgun shot. So that was a good attempt. But Mitro and Vilex, they're scary.
They're scary, man. Raid bosses indeed. Look at the top there. Txie, Kinstar, 4 eliminations. So Cypher, they've got themselves a point on the board. It's pretty good. Now keep in mind, we still have plenty of players left in this match, so you got to think they're probably thinking about that most eliminations in a single match. They're probably been thinking about the likes of a Royale Flush. They're halfway there, just on Txie by himself. And here's the thing, is obviously Kinstar doesn't have any eliminations, which tells me Kinstar is the shield up front. He's like, look, I'm going to build, I'm going to distract you. Txie, you can run in, go full send, get the eliminations, my friend. Let's take a look at this replay from Dalo and Dollar Games. Oh, this was
the fight we fought earlier. Yeah, we watched earlier. You know, a lot of times when somebody has the 0 limbs and their partner has a little bit more, it could just be that their partner is the finisher.
Right.
You know, you could do a lot of damage like from a distance, and then your partner goes in and finishes them off just like right
like
here.
That. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, so it's not to say that, you know, Kinstar's not good because he doesn't have eliminations. Yeah. It's just his teammate, Txie, finds those, that what you would say like the final blow, if you will, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for all we know, Kinstar could have done the most damage.
99 damage.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, you know, this is a team game.
That's right.
The limbs is what matter. I'd be very interested to see where Kinstar and Txie currently are on the map in terms of their positioning, because if they are in near the tilted area, if they have the resources, they could get a lot more eliminations and maybe be our first team to get that Royale Flush.
Ooh, you gotta wonder if that's going to be the case. I mean, people like. Here's the thing, though. It's not even like the likes of Kinstar, who is an incredible player. We see him make it to top 10 every game. Mitro, still alive, still running around this game. He's a terror. Even the likes of someone like Rasmussen, another player in Atlantis, Kinzo, even Ghost is his duo partner. There's a lot of stacked duos here. And again, this is just game 1, right? This is just like that filler, that feel it out game, right?
Yeah.
People are just like, first game, just warm up, just see what happens.
Typically, game 1s are played a little bit slower. People want to just get the feel of it. Maybe maybe get a point or two place, make it to the final. There's a big influence on, you know, your confidence levels when you make it to the final 10 on your first game. You feel like, okay, we have what it takes to make it there. Let's keep doing that. But getting knocked out early on the first game, it can definitely drive your momentum down for the rest of the tournament. And a lot of these guys know that, so they wanna do well for their first game. Some clingers coming in.
He's even got the
oh, they're committing to
as
that.
well.
Clingers and
over to Tilted though. Skosis and Dav. Man, again, take a look at the top right of the mini-map. Just look how many players are in close proximity of each other right now. This is going to be a battleground, all right?
Definitely.
Now, what's good... Oh, I thought that scared me for a moment. They're wearing the same skin. Okay, good. What's going to be tough here, like you talked about a little bit, it's just kind of navigating the space, right? We're kind of... A lot of these players have already made their way into the safe zone, and they fortified. They're ready to go. They've picked their spot. But now it's on these other guys to make it through safely. Yeah,
and when it comes to rotating out of this, you need excess materials, you need launch pads, you need shockwave grenades. If you don't have that, then you're actively searching for teams to eliminate who potentially might have that, or get the resources that you need. A lot of times, people will play safe when they have the resources, but for example, right here, Evil has 380 metal. I don't know how many materials his partner has, but they're trying to get these elims because they know that if they want to win, if they want to make it past this point on this next rotation, they need some more materials. And that's why they're playing very aggressive here, and they're going for the risk. And it's going to pay off. There's a chug jug, there's some materials. Great pressure from these guys. Holding the low ground, playing safe, shooting from the edited window, and now the materials are stacked. And they've got chug jugs, so now they have a better chance at potentially moving out of this area and going into the safe zone.
That's a great point. They've only got 45 seconds left to make these rotations as well, but again, just look at how cluttered that area is. And now look, the new safe zone.
They're already in the safe zone.
They're good to go. And that's a Kinstar call. I'm gonna tell you right now, Kinstar is the guy that says, look, we need to make it to these safe zones. We're gonna fortify and we're gonna show people that we're here. Because the thing is, as well, Kinstar builds a very specific way. So when you see it, you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's Kinstar.
Nice little tunnel they have going on here. Replacing the enemy walls with their own, just fortifying it. Sharing the shields. It's good to communicate with your teammate. Make sure that you guys are both even when it comes to materials and shield count. And sometimes you will want one person to hold more, especially if they have like more health and you're more prone to going down. But they both are healthy and they both are sharing the resources well. So I'm really hoping that they can pull this off because I'm pretty sure. Are they on the push banners?
Who are?
DC and Kinstar.
Let me take a look for you.
Oh, man.
They are not.
Oh, they're not? Okay,
they are not.
I take everything I said back. I hope they go down the next 10 seconds.
Oh, my gosh. Over to Paffy and Noisy, though.
See, this is where it gets a little scary because what happens is if you get caught out of place and you look weak, if you look weak to the people around you, everyone will kind of have like a gentleman's agreement to start shooting at you. You want to look strong, you want to look like you have a lot of materials and that you can defend yourselves. Because now these guys are getting attacked with grenade launchers, but they're doing a good job of you know, defending and putting the walls up, so people might stop shooting at them. But if at any moment you look like you're taking too much damage or that you're running low on resources because you're cycling through your materials, everyone around you is going to make it their job to try to take you out. Now right here, Paffy is
not looking good.
He's not looking good, and more people are going to potentially start shooting at them once they realize that.
That's such a great point, because like, even looking up just a little north, you see a player that's just med-kitting. No one's shooting at them at all.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinstar and Tixi, of course, everyone's like, hey, pile on these guys, make them use their mats, we'll shoot at each other. Don't shoot at us, shoot at them. Look at them, they're the threat.
62 players alive. By the time this next circle goes up that hill, part of it is up on the hill, I see that number going from 60 down to like 20. We're about to lose 40 people potentially, because this is a tough rotation. And most of the people on the map are away from the circle. And the people who are near the circle, they still might have to go up that hill. So,
especially with the safe zone is like half encompassed in the storm.
Yeah.
So you have a super small space to work in. I mean, look at it again. You see people on top of each other right now and continue to make their way into that current safe zone. That's a great point, though, Cypher. Look, this is going to get really crazy really quickly.
And when it comes to these late game rotations, a lot of times you try to get away with, you know, rotating without using materials and you hope that people just let you buy. You hope that people just like ignore you and focus on their own rotation. And if you can get away with rotating without using that, look at all this loot right here.
Oh my! That's another player.
That's he's trying to snack the loot. Oh, that did not go well.
For it. Oh no, it was Pappy.
Oh, the Porter Rift, that is so clutch.
And now
did he pick that up or did he have it with him?
I believe he picked it up, and now they can make this clean rotation. And Mitro's like, look, I want to go in. I want to steal this high ground. They are so
They need
close.
one more for another point. But like I said, that you need those resources to make those late game rotations, and that's why people play a little bit more aggressive, especially if they're low on resources. Keemstar is very weak right now, and him and TC are just running around, and they're hoping that they don't get shot. You see, they're not really. That's a great shot from TC, but they're not really building because they want to see if they can get away with it. That's kind of the whole way. You're like, okay, please let me buy. Let me buy. Let me try to get it through here without spending too many materials. And if they can do that, that's great.
And that's a great point because you can utilize other players' builds to do that.
Yes.
But as you can see, they're onto it. They're like, hey, we see you guys. Nice try. And so now Tixie and Kinstar are in a bad spot, right? They have to sit here and fortify while everyone is just barraging them now.
And if more people find out that Kingstar is down, there'll be more shots coming through here. But I think it's hectic enough for him to pick up Kingstar right now.
Over to Mitro and Villex, who are maintaining a nice little high ground here. I'm not even surprised, man. Mitro with 5 eliminations, just like you talked about. He's one away from getting 2 points on the board for his duo.
Did Mitro win last week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wait. You mean like overall? Who was the winner?
Overall?
In Europe?
Yes.
I will get word on that because I'm not 100% certain. Let me get word.
I mean,
but he did
was
really
in the top.
Really well. Yeah.
He's very consistent. Very, very consistent. One of the most consistent European competitors I've ever watched.
They got 6 eliminations. They're super close. And now look at the new safe zone. They've got to make their way back into the storm. What's interesting too is back over old builds, but Villex is down. And it's not looking great.
It's up to Mitro. He's not going to be able to pick up.
Yeah, he just needs to go. Yeah, Villex is down.
He's got enough materials to try to make this work, and he's got the grappler, which is going to be really, really useful during his rotation. And you see, he's not even building anything right here. He's just using other people's builds and hoping he doesn't get focused. Looks like he wants to maintain the high ground, but maybe now that his partner's down, it might be a little too tough. Storm's closing in on him there, so he has to be careful. Keep moving.
There is a lot of players going down. We're down to 28. The new safe zone is going to start moving in 10 seconds, Cypher. It's almost time to go. And I am getting word Boyer won last week.
Yes.
Mitro, though, putting up those big numbers as well. So here we go, Cypher.
It's
time to start moving.
Still alive. They've got 5. They've got 6, actually. 2 more eliminations.
Yep.
They'll get the extra point.
That's right, at 8.
And in terms of placement, was it the top? First place gets the 3 points.
Yep. Victory Hour is worth 3. Second and third are worth 2. Fourth and fifth are worth 1 point. Yep. So now they're probably shifting their mindset a little bit, right? They're like, okay, well, there's 30 of us. Could we play for top 5? Well, I don't know. There's still 30 of us.
There's still 30.
Yeah.
So we're talking 15th, 16th place right here if you go down.
Yep.
They're just I guess some people are hoping that they just don't get noticed a little bit and that they're able to make it to the top 5.
That's right.
And then the people who are, maybe 1 or 2 elims away from getting a point, they might be looking for that. Wild card Bowman and Alpha have that high ground.
I believe it's Solary Kinsar who takes down Mitro. And look at the kill feed light up. People are being eliminated left and right. Alliance Tomo takes down 2. So now they need 1 more, Cypher. They're so close. They have the potential to get the Royale flush right now. We see people going down. Kinstar goes down, though. He's currently knocked. Tixie is by himself, dude. And they've got the 8 eliminations, Cypher.
Yes, they do. And I would be very surprised if TC picks up Keemstar here because it'll be the 2nd time and he's running from the storm. No, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going
Looks
to
like it's going up the hill, so he will be going down here.
He just, it just needs to be Tixie. He needs to go by himself. He's got the double barrel.
Oh my goodness. 10 eliminations total. 8 from Tixie alone, and he's looking for more. There's 9. He's gonna get the double digits. Oh, the storm just stopped moving. There's 2 people on top of him. They know he's there. They can hear him breaking. He's got to be extra careful. He's going to replace these walls. He has enough materials, sort of, to try to get this out. But the thing is, as soon as the storm starts closing, it's going to be closing towards the center. And he won't be in the center. There's no way he can get there.
Yeah,
unless he tries to maneuver out of here.
Yeah, he's got to go now.
But it's going up the hill. Oh my.
He could make it. It's going to be really close. Double barrel's out. He's going to find another.
Going for the spray. They're all looking at him.
Not enough, but Tfue and Kinsar land 11 elims in the first game. We're down to final 8.
So hectic. 2 elims
6
coming in.
players left suddenly. I'm sorry,
Wow.
Kingwin. The duo of Heisel and Tyovsky. Oh, he's
8
down.
elims.
9. Cypher.
9.
This is all going down. What just happened? We've gone down. Cypher, what just happened?
Okay. The wildcard duo, they had the high ground. At no point were they being contested due to the fact that it was going up a hill. So everybody who was climbing up the hill were fighting each other. And they were able to just stay up top and avoid all the combat. So they get that easy victory royale. And it's good that they held the high ground early on. Sometimes when the high ground's held and it's kind of like a easier place to work with, not on a hill, people will try to contest it. People will try to, you know, grapple up there. But it was so hectic down there that they kind of were left alone. And what I assume happened is one of them stayed up top to heal, and the other one went down to try to get as many limbs as they could before it went down, and also to mess other people up who were maybe trying to heal through the storm. Tfue, at the end, just went on a reign of terror, took out so many people. They are currently in the lead, I believe,
for most of the limbs. Yep, that is 11. Tfue by himself dropped 9. And I mean, we saw there at the end, Kinstar went down, and you got to think Kinstar's like, dude, just go. Just be free. And Tfue's like, cool, double barrel out. Where is everybody? And I believe at that moment he had just hit 8 as a duo, and then he picked up 3 on the way down into that little nook we saw him in at the very end. That was a pretty explosive game 1 to start the day. Now, I'm curious to check out some of the replays coming out of this last game. So, keep in mind, victory royale is worth 3 points. Second and third place are worth 2 points. Fourth and fifth are worth 1 place. This is dependent upon where the duo itself lands. So I do not believe we saw a Royale flush. We got really close, right? If Tfue and Kinstar could have pulled it off, we saw also another team as well hit that 8 elimination threshold.
Yes. I think we had 2 teams hit the 8 eliminations, unless there was another team that, you know, slid by us. But Tfue right here, just the double barrel, really close range, hitting those excellent shots. The double barrel after the nerf is a lot harder to use because if you're not right in front of your opponent, you're not going to get the damage that you're looking for. Right here, great spray from Heisel to secure the 7 elims, and then he finishes them off for the 8 elims. So Heisel and his partner are the second people, and you'll notice that in that late game, you know, action, that's where you get the most elims, potential and easy elims where, you know, if you have a good shot, you have a good loadout, you get in there, you bust out your shotgun, finish them off with the SMG. Both teams, Heisel and Kinstar's group, both got most of their eliminations in that last 2 circles.
Yep. And that's interesting to talk about because you got to think throughout the whole game, there's like two ways of thinking, I guess you'd say. You say, okay, look, we're going to play for placements or we're going to play for eliminations, maybe both. And so to say, because we tuned into Tfue and Kinstar at one point, they only had Kinstar at 0 and Tfue had 4 eliminations. And we thought, that's not a lot. And then they're like, don't worry about it. Final circles, we're going to pick up eliminations. Don't even worry about it. And that's what we're seeing. So Wildcard Alpha picks up the victory royale. But we still have 2 teams that drop 8 eliminations in game 1. So just off the bat, they're going to get the 3 points coming in on the board. And if Tfue and Kinstar maintain the 8 eliminations all day, they're going to get $25K.
That's great. But you know what? 11 elims, I think that's going to be broken.
Yeah.
I think either they will break their own record or another team will come out because 25,000, that's a big incentive. I think these guys want it. And going for those elims is going to get you the 3 points and potentially another $25,000. I'm gonna say that they might break their own score within the next few games, or another team will come out and break it for them.
You got to hope that's the case, right? Because we want a little bit of action, we want a little bit of underdogs going up. But, yeah, for you guys at home, what do you think of that first game? #FallSkirmish. Use it. Rep your favorite club. Talk about how incredible Cypher is. And obviously, talk about 11 eliminations here in Game 1 coming out of Kinstar. I mean, I'm not even surprised, right? Kinstar is a dynamo. He's a robot in obviously the most positive ways I could possibly use that word.
And TC's like a robot. He's just, he goes in there, points, clicks, gets a limbs. I've never seen somebody be so accurate in that close range encounters and just be so confident in his approach. He walked on like 2 groups and he didn't care. He's like, I'm going to shoot you guys before you shoot me. Yeah. He took some damage, but he ended up eliminating them. So what an excellent player, honestly.
That's a good point, because in those final moments, it gets really hectic. You have to maintain like so many different things all at once. Like, how many layers up are we? Layers down? How many players around us? And just like you said, Tixie walked in and is like, double barrel, you're down. Swap to shotgun, you're down. That's 2 more for me.
You got to have that mentality in the late game. People are like scared. They're like, okay, we got to be careful. You know, the circle's closing in. There's people all around us. If you get scared, you're gonna like not be the first person to shoot. And in that situation, you want to be the first person to shoot. You want to be the first person to play aggressive and make that initial move, because people are going to get caught off guard. They can't really hear the footsteps because there's a lot of footsteps everywhere.
Right.
There's a lot of builds everywhere. It's very easy to make simple mistakes, and that's where you want to capitalize off those mistakes. People in the early game, they farm, they get the weapons they need, and they hope that they get to the late game with enough resources to take out the people who are unfortunate enough not to get the resources or spend the resources early, and now they're a weak team. So even if like a duo like Keenstar, they're excellent players, but if they didn't have the materials or resources, another team could have easily taken them out in the late game.
Right.
But they did a good job of getting those early limbs. You want to get some of those early limbs because the way I see it is that you want to get a couple early limbs to pad your resources, because you can only do so much farming. You try to get as many resources as you can. You find another team, try to beat them without spending all your resources, and that's what they did. And then they had enough to go into that late game and take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, especially for the likes of we saw Mitro go down, the Titan that he is. But it's interesting that Kinstar was the one to dethrone him for that game.
Yeah.
So obviously, when 2 Titans clash, one has to be winner, and in this case, it was Kinstar. I liked that we saw Mitro as well land Pleasant, and they just like took out another team.
Yeah.
That's how you want to start the game. Hey man, game 1, let's land up. I don't know, Pleasant. That sounds good. Oh, Mitro's here.
And
cool.
And
Raid
you
boss.
notice that they won that because they were playing aggressive and they were pushing into, like, usually the team inside feels like they have the advantage because they're inside, the other team has to break in.
Right.
But that wasn't the case. Like, their aggression split them up. They made it from a 2v2 to a 2v1, and then they just took out both players.
Yeah.
So,
oh, man, what an excellent game 1 to start the game. Don't forget we have 5 more games. That's right. 5 more games just like this heading your way throughout the day. We'll hop into game number 2 shortly. But oh my.
It was a good game 1.
That's a good game 1, man. These rosters currently from each of the clubs, super stacked. Fun fact, Ali A is playing. I wanted to throw that one out there. He's seeing his tournament debut. We'll tune in. We'll give you guys some insight in the club rosters soon. Don't worry. But yeah, man, what do you think? So do you watch a lot of the European gameplay?
I do watch Solari. I watch their stream. They're constantly cycling through their players. I've seen Tixie. Tixie, if you didn't know, he holds a lot of the world records for most eliminations in like solo, squad, duo. Like he's up there. If you search up Fortnite world records, he's up there. So he is an experienced slayer. He knows what he's doing. Mitro, he's on my radar now. He's been on my radar for a bit. People say he's one of the best players in the world. We'll see. Next week at TwitchCon, they're going to be there going against the likes of Poach, Vivid, the Liquid Boys, and also Ghost, 2 of the top organizations. So it's going to be interesting to see the EU and NA clash next week. But right now we're seeing them on their final week before the final event at TwitchCon, so it should be good.
My goodness, that's a great point. I cannot wait. I just got super excited. Next week is TwitchCon. Don't forget, this is week number 5. It all culminates next week at TwitchCon, and keep in mind that is a LAN setting, so everyone's on even playing field. Oh man,
it's gonna be
got super hype. Woo! Oh my goodness. So what do you think, man? So do you think there's any, let's say, like misplays that happened in that game? Do you think? So for me, watching and observing Europe, it seems they kind of have a slow start, right? We saw a lot of those players toward the end have plenty of resources to go around, where in NA you typically don't see that. Everyone's kind of like burning through materials trying to survive. But what's interesting is we saw that lobby at 70 players at one point.
Yeah.
70 players. That doesn't happen. These aren't normal pubs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And like I said, on that late game circle rotation, that 70 dropped down to 20 really quickly because that's such a hard rotate to make up a hill. A lot of people did not have the resources or got eliminated as they were transitioning. And it's interesting that you point out the difference between the NA and the EU competitors because the style of play is a little bit different. And it's something to look into because you're right. The EU guys, they typically start off a little bit slower, and then at late game they ramp it up. And I'm not sure why that is, why there's like a difference of Fortnite culture between them, but it's noticeable. It's noticeable. And yeah, game 2 coming right up.
Game 2. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. I just want to see more action. So everybody, just run back everything you were doing here in game number 1. We just want to see all that again. But, man, you know what I'm hoping to see more of is Mitro. Again, we saw him getting taken down by Kinstar. I want to see what he can do to show up in this next game. Keep in mind, though, we do have 5 more games. So that first game, again, was like a warm-up, right? You got to think. A lot of the players are like, look, it's good. This is just the first game. Tixie and Kinstar, though, they were like, hey, first game, let's drop 11 eliminations, obviously.
And, you know, the people who do well typically in their first game, they're going to try to repeat it.
Yep.
They're confident now. They want to go with that momentum. The people who did bad, they're like, all right, this is our game. Let's do this. Focus up. You know, I don't want to get eliminated off spawn. You can see Razaru and his partner going back to Motel, but I think this time they're uncontested.